In my last video, which was about Oscar the Grouch piloting a Gundam, I made a brief aside about the, quote, god-awful Robotech role-playing game. One of the first comments I got was from Chazinski, saying, hey, I had a lot of fun playing that Palladium RPG. And yeah, Palladium games were a great source of fun in their heyday. It doesn't mean they were good, or even fun. Speaking as an American citizen, I confirm that quality and fun are not dependent on one another. I mean, not to get too political here, but I live within midnight fireworks distance of several people whose love of their country is expressed by low-key admitting it isn't currently great. Also, a good 40% of my diet is sourced from Dollar Tree, along with at least 2 of my hobbies. So it stands to reason that something being fun does not exempt it from being bad. Of course, it's not as simple as that. The badness isn't necessarily the enjoyable part. In my Big Rigs video, for example, I explored how all my fun with it comes from my own over-examination and curiosity, none of which were intentional parts of its development. I also did a video a while back about a game called Hell Shooter, awful by just about any metric, yet offering a nice little gameplay loop while you're listening to a second screen video essay or trying desperately to ignore your neighbor's dang fireworks. So yeah, bad games are fun, so long as you BYOF, which at this point should just be the slogan for Palladium books. Now I do have a true unironic love for Palladium's work, but as I think back to why, all I come up with is it's what all my friends were playing. The books were cheap, and most of them hooked into riffs one way or the other, so there was this sense that they could reliably cross over with one another. I mean, they couldn't. All the pieces fit together like 6 sets of off-brand Legos made by 12 different species of squid, but that was all counterbalanced by most of those systems not being the least bit usable in the first place. And yeah, I get that you're gonna struggle a bit to craft a system that meets the ludonarrative needs of a party containing 1 superhero, 1 ninja, 1 psychic, 1 anti-psychic, a 4-armed giant, an anime mecha pilot, a mutated raccoon, and an off-brand Tim Burton Cenobite, or whatever the heck Nightbane was about. It's a noble challenge, one that I'd argue Marvel Superheroes First Edition did just fine with a single chart instead of stretching itself over dozens of source books. And Palladium's failure to meet that challenge is the stuff of legend. Yet somehow we still had fun trying. We also had fun making characters, which is baffling. There's 8 stats and I'm not going to bother detailing them because after you roll them up and get their derived bonuses, you're all but completely done looking at them. There's a common joke amongst Palladium fans that if you know what mental affinity does, then shut up, no you don't, nobody does. But in researching this video, I decided to actually look it up. And the very first search result leads to this page on the official Palladium website where MA is mistakenly described as mental endurance, and they didn't even bother to finish the sentence. So it looks like even Palladium officially gave up on trying to explain it. Not that it matters, since again, you'll never look at them after creation. I heard once that you could use them to do D20 checks, but I've yet to find any concrete evidence of that, especially since all skill checks were supposed to be D100 percentile. So this was likely either a house rule or some homebrew thing that got litigated down a memory hole by one of Palladium's famous cease and desists. Character creation basically consisted of rolling on some tables and then spending way too long writing a list of weirdly specific skills followed by arbitrary percentages. And somehow the hours you spent doing this was fun? Okay, so if the stats are obtuse and indeed more pointless than the numbers you can make bigger by liking and subscribing this video, please and thank you, and the skills are a tedious exercise in verbatim note-taking, and the combat is both needlessly convoluted and plagued by even more arbitrary bloated note-taking, and character classes range from cyborg dragons with laser breath to bookish hermits who can keep their tea hot twice as long, and the worlds themselves were 75% derivative half-baked genre templates and 25% moon logic, where was all that fun coming from? Take your nose out of the book and look around the room, friendo. The real fun of Palladium games was the friends we made along the way. The joy of Palladium games was they gave you an affordable and well-illustrated excuse to sit around a table with several friends, then give you more excuses to talk to them. On the surface, yeah, that meant workshopping ideas and sharing your creative visions, but it also meant asking if anyone knew what functional difference there was between OCCs and PCCs, except that the latter wouldn't survive a single hour outside of Coalition Chi-Town. It was in pondering out loud if anyone could remember the last time anyone had to roll a skill check for the radio operation skill, then listening to the group's resident BS artist share a dodgy anecdote about the time it literally saved the party when he was playing with his friends from Canada who you've never met. It was found in the uphill verbal battle required to get anyone interested in your idea for a Wormwood campaign, because you were up against a second uphill verbal battle coming from the friend who won't play any setting that doesn't allow Veritex. And let's be honest here, it was in the organic foibles and gaffes that turned janky games gameplay into positive memories. My own friends still bring up the time when, during a game of Beyond the Supernatural I was running, I changed the ransom amount the main villain was asking for mid-mission. I had intended it as a message from said villain, who was a bee-suited Saoki, creatively named Mr. Trioptic, that the money was irrelevant because this was all just an elaborate trap. But my goofball friends rejected that reality and replaced it with the funnier and simpler explanation that I done goofed. And even if I know in my heart of hearts that I didn't done goof, dang it, I still go along with it and value the friends who still make that joke whenever we hang out. And that's why I, and of course Chazinski, had a lot of fun playing Palladium games. We rejected the reality of its duct tape engine, its outdated layouts, and its stubborn adherence to looking like a big deal RPG at the expense of actually playing like one, and we replaced it with the more fun reality of bold, evocative artwork, hilarious observations, and incidental in-jokes that would last a lifetime. The true value of Ninjas and Super Spies wasn't in the promise of fun, cool 80s action spy movie play, or even the wider range of options it brought to Heroes Unlimited. It was to discover the classic phrase, whatever works, that's jujitsu, or to opine about how funny it'd be to play as Brian Pillman's tag team partner and wax cyborgs with a 200-pound Oscar trophy, because then you'd be Tom Zenk with a Tonzen, or to accidentally find the name of your next band and be like, hey guys, after we spend 3 hours making characters for a campaign we know for a fact will only run for like half a session, we should start a punk band called Manriki Gusari. So yeah, next time you're playing riffs, don't ruin the experience for yourself by thinking too hard about what it is you like about it. Just be happy you're surrounded by your people. Live in the moment and enjoy the fun that can only come from arbitrary percentages, cumbersome generation processes, and all-around questionable design decisions, where everything's word salad and the stats don't matter. And in all of that mess, there's fun to be had. Lots of it. Whatever works, that's Palladium. Joke's on you, cowboy. That only did STC damage. Hey, who let in the glitter boy?